welcome to the EFC video page. We are going to be talking about diversions today. So I'm just here in the Edmonton West practice area. I'm actually out here by myself today, which is lovely. And I'm going to show you a diversion. Now we're going to do a diversion that we need to get to parkland. Now remember, diversions can happen because of weather, they can happen because you change your mind, they can happen for all kinds of reasons. Maybe it's just that you miscalculated something, you need to go somewhere closer for fuel, whatever it might be. So I'm assuming that I got to divert and I'm going to go to parkland. So first thing I'm going to do, get myself all trimmed out, level, happy. Slow down a little bit too, I don't want to be going screaming fast, I got to figure some stuff out here. It's trimmed and happy. I'm going to figure out where the heck I am. I know I'm in the practice area. I'm going to orient the map in the direction I'm going. And sure enough, there we go. I can see I've got the highway in front of me and the other one there. So I'm coming up somewhere here. I'm going to circle that intersection. I'm going to circle parkland. I got too many circles on my map, guys. Circle parkland, and then I'm going to draw a line between the two of them. Okay? Again, making sure my airplane's okay. I'm losing a little altitude. Got to fix that up. So draw that line. Okay, so from parkland to me, it's not going to be a perfect line. Then I'm going to put a halfway, I think about Stony Plain. Maybe it's a little bit on this side of it, but get an approximation back to my airplane, losing some altitude. Going to fix that right up. Again, don't stress here. You just want to make sure you're flying that airplane nicely. Okay, I'm coming up by my point. I've done my, you can do circle, circle, line, line, heading, distance, time. So heading, I'm going to kind of look here. I can open up my compass rose and line it up here. And if I line that up, I'm going to say about, I don't know, 110. I'm going to put my bug to that. Then I'm going to look at it. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense from where I am to go direct to parkland. So there we go. Heading, distance, time. So I know on here that that's about either 5 or 10, depending if I'm using a VNC or a VTA. So then I'm just going to line it up with my thumb. So I'm going to go, okay, from my point that I selected, which was my set heading point in this case, really, 5, 10. So I'm looking at about 15 miles. So if I go 15 miles times 2 divided by 3, so 30 divided by 3, I'm looking at about 10 minutes. So, coming up on my set heading point here, which was just a nice point ahead of me that I could see and that I can then follow, I'm going to go to a heading of 110, and it's going to take me about 10 minutes, so I'm leaving about 9:51, so I should be there at about 10:01. Okay, so heading, distance, time, okay, call EFC and you'll be fine. So I've got to think about that. So the calling, I got to make a radio call here, a few of them. So I'm going to first call the practice area and let them know I'm leaving. West Practice Area traffic, it's 172, Foxtrot, Oscar, Echo, Foxtrot. We are just over the intersection of 16 and 43, and we are en route back to parkland, leaving the zone. Oscar, Echo, Foxtrot. Okay, I'm turning. There's one call. Nobody called me back. Start monitoring.
And we'll be tracking southbound for the Edmonton refinery. Hotel, 3,000.
There we go. En route traffic in the Spruce Grove, Stony Plain area is 172, Foxtrot, Oscar, Echo, Foxtrot. We just left the Edmonton West practice area. We're inbound to parkland. We will be descending to 3,500, Oscar, Echo, Foxtrot. Oh, I've also kind of talked about
1267 traffic set to 152, Foxtrot, Echo, Zulu, X-ray, approximately 8 nautical miles to the east of Wabamun Lake, 4,500, heading southwest towards Drayton Valley, just to the southeast of the practice zone.
That's here, Michael.
Okay, traffic to the southeast of the zone. We'll keep an eye out for you. What was your altitude again?
I'm at 4,500, heading southwest towards Drayton Valley.
We're on South Indigo Lake, en route to Rocky.
Okay, Oscar, Echo, Foxtrot. We're at 4,000, descending down to 35, and I have you on site. No conflict.
Sounds good. Have a good day, thanks.
Yeah, have a good flight.
Thanks, you too. Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to start going down and have my traffic
in the Josephburg area, SF-172, Golf Zulu, X-ray, Quebec, currently 6 miles north of Josephburg, 2,600, low-level pipeline. You're going to be in the Redwater area doing a grid pattern for the next 1 hour and 10 minutes. Golf Zulu, X-ray, Quebec.
And call EFC's engine, fuel, and then communicate as needed. So we've also got altitude in there. So I've looked.
Charlie Delta Kilo, currently 4,500 feet.
What's
to the
safe?
southwest in Row Wolf Lake.
I know that I've got a town there, and I've got some altitudes in here. So I've looked at that, thinking that 35 is probably the lowest I want to go. That is also going to help for me for how I'm going to join the airport at Parkland, because I'm going to have to start thinking about that too. So my navigating here, looking outside, that's looking okay. Engine, everything's okay. I definitely have enough gas to get there because it's only a 10-minute flight. That's maybe a gallon of gas. And I've got well over 40. Make sure I'm leaned out. Everything's good. Heading's good. Back outside.
Currently 12 miles to the southwest of
Starting to see Stony
on
Plain.
the northeast track at 4,400 feet inbound for Lackland.
A little bit of bumps out here. My track is making sense. I'm seeing I've just crossed over Highway 16 and 68 intersection. I can see Stony Plain and Parkland, or not Parkland, sorry, Spruce Grove. Okay, so yeah, everything's looking pretty good. I'm in a nice, relaxed descent. So at this point, I'm still, my timing might be more like 11 minutes because I'm in a descent. I reduced a bit of power. I'm going a little slower. I'm coming up on my 35. But I also now have to start thinking about joining the airport. So at Parkland, how do I join? Well, in this case, I'd be pulling out my CFS. If I didn't have a CFS for whatever reason, then I'm also going to just look at my chart to see what kind of information it gives me about the airport. First of all, I'm going to get my airplane under control here. Make sure we're re-leaned. Make sure my heading's right. I think I'm actually going to alter it to about 120. I'm about coming up on my halfway point here, just coming up on the edge of Stony Plain, just before Stony. I said maybe a little bit before it if I look at really what halfway is. And we're just before Stony Plain, and hey, check it out, look at that, 9:55. So I can just say I'm halfway, going to be another 5 minutes. So sure enough, I should be there pretty close to 10 o'clock or 10:01, somewhere in about there. Okay, so I'm stable now, 3,500 feet. Still, I'm starting to pick out some landmarks around the Parkland area. And I've got to think about how to join the airport. Now, Parkland, both the circuits are on the north side of the field. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan to come in from the south side, cross over top, and then I can turn either right for the right downwind for runway 26, or I can turn left for the left downwind 08, depending what the winds are. Now, when I took off earlier, I took off runway 26, so I'm going to think that it's probably still runway 26. I'm also in a fancy-dancy G1000, so I can see the winds right now are out of the south at about 9 knots. So pretty close to my choice in that case, because it's going to be a little bit of a crosswind. But we'll check with that windsock as we cross over. That's that. That's the diversion. Then it's just making those little adjustments. Remember, always going back to your altitude and flying the airplane. You know where you are. You have a good heading. Do you need to adjust it? Right? Is the landmarks, are they making sense? How's everything feeling? Is the airplane taking
Traffic
care of?
advisory for the Sylvan Lake area. Gloucester Foxtrot Sierra, Mike call. North.
I'm going to make my call into Parkland because we said we're about 5 minutes out, so it's what we need to do for calling, so we'll give them a ring. Parkland traffic 172 Foxtrot Oscar Echo Foxtrot is currently about 2 miles to the southwest of Stony Plain. We're going to be inbound for a field inspection crossing south to north, estimating the field approximately 5 minutes. Oscar Echo Foxtrot. Alright, so that's all looking good. So I've got the airport, it's just a little off my left, and I've kind of set myself for that just again to let myself have a nicer kind of flight in here. So that's why I went from 110 earlier to 120. So now as I'm getting a little closer, I can bring myself back to that 110 heading, which should bring me in nicely, and then I'll kind of round myself out onto the, more or less, the dead side or the upwind side of the airport. So I'll also start thinking now about going down a little bit, set myself down for about that 3,300, which is that circuit altitude. Looking for traffic around here. It's a bit of a transition area, so you're always paying attention for, is there somebody coming or going to Villeneuve, or somebody coming or going to Parkland. There's also pipeline guys, you might sometimes see them out and about, or crop dusters, because there's a ton of farmland over here. Also trying to get over top of these power lines here, just to try to be as courteous as we can to anybody that lives around the airport. But he usually lives underneath the power lines directly, so best we can, we're going to angle ourselves just a bit over to those power lines. So in our case, we might actually, with that thinking, we might get a minute or two extra that it'll take us to get to Parkland. But again, doing our best to be good neighbors. We're getting a little bumpy out here now. Summertime heating, you can see getting a little bit of cumulus clouds. I'm not sure if you can see those starting to pop up. It's a nice indication of beautiful summer day for sure. See how much they build and what the day pertains to. It's not had a bunch of rain yesterday, so there is a chance that moisture could develop into something. Alright, there we go. So now we're just over top of our power lines. I've got my airport, so now I'm basically just flying directly to the upwind side at this point. Got some time here, so at this case, the other thing I'm going to start thinking about doing is my pre-landing checks, get those all out of the way. Doors, brakes, airplane's feeling really good. I'm also going to set my heading bag up nicely for my, I'll either do it for the runway I'm anticipating or for the opposite runway just as a reference. You can also kind of adjust your course director if you want. I can put it over to VOR even and just set it up nicely so I have that visual. Especially if it's an airport I'm not used to, I might do that just to try and help me remember like roughly what heading I should be on. If I'm on the downwind, will be the opposite of the runway that I'm flying, and just it takes some of the math out of it for you. Alright, so we can see our airport's just up here on the left, and we're coming up at 9:59 here, so about 10:01, our original time was pretty spot on. You can see we had to make some adjustments as the diversion happened, but the biggest adjustments we were making were just little ones to correct our altitude, maybe a little bit of change of heading, and you could see if I just talked about it, I just let you know what I was doing, and you're going to do a similar sort of thing with an examiner. Note that as an examiner, we're not looking for you to say every single word, although if you are that kind of person that just likes to talk it through, give her. We don't mind if you don't talk to us very much, but we don't mind also if you talk to us a ton. So don't hesitate to just explain what you're doing. If you're making a change, just let us know that it was a conscious change, more or less. So 10 o'clock, hopefully you all can see the airport a little bit. It's just right there. And here we go. There's our diversion. We've made it, so now we're going to switch into our uncontrolled airport procedure. So hopefully that was helpful and made it make a little bit of sense. Remember, there's all kinds of sayings out there. We like the circle, circle, line, line, heading, distance, time, call EFC, and you'll be fine. The other one that's in there is you want to like kind of add an altitude. It's not really in that rhyme, but that's one that does get missed sometimes. The other ones are triple D TAFCA, which is draw, distance, direction, time, altitude, fuel, engine, gyros, if you've got a heading indicator that's not sleeved. And then advise, meaning call and update your flight plan. That's another thing we could have done if we had a flight plan. Then you do a there check, so time, heading, engine, radios, and ETAs. So lots of different ways you can do it. The biggest thing is that, especially at the private level, that you're trying to keep it nice and simple, and that you get to your point of destination safely and within, about 100 feet is what you're looking for. Commercial, same sort of thing, but we're looking for you to be a little bit more expedited and a little bit more controlled. All right, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go in and land. See you later.